welcome you all once again. And what we are going to discuss today is how do we create chatbots using custom GPT. Okay, so that's broadly is going to be our topic of discussions today. It's going to be pretty hands-on kind of a learning. So, so one thing is required for it is basically you might need a GPT Plus license. In case you want to follow me, I'll be slow, okay? And in case you would want me to follow me, you will need GPT Plus license. But having said that, we are recording this session. So I will put the recording on YouTube as well, so you guys can later on also use this. Okay, so maybe I'll I'll start off with quickly introducing myself. My name is Mahendra. I'm a chartered accountant. I've done my MBA in strategy from Indian Institute of Management. I have more than 15 years of post-qualification experience, and I currently work with a place which is called as KPMG. And within KPMG, I'm part of the advisory service line business, and I lead the digital GRC practice, which is about exploring new tools, technologies, and how they can be used in the business. Okay, and how do we serve our clients better, as well as how do we bring in efficiencies. So that's a bit on my professional side. On a personal level, I'm pretty active with ICI Dubai. I think somebody has its mute. Okay, I've muted all the participants. So, in terms of personally, I'm also a very active member of ICA Dubai, and I have done multiple sessions on custom GPTs or how to create chatbots using custom GPTs, as well as I started recently on Copilot Studio and also on Power BI. So, what we are going to cover today is going to be hands-on in terms of how do we build customized GPTs. Okay, so it's 10:05. So unless you guys want me to wait for a little more, I can start off now because like it's already 10:05 and we just have 2 hours on our agenda and it's a Saturday morning. So I'll maybe start off if all of you are okay. Yeah, okay, Joseph. We should start. So before starting the sessions, anybody has any questions in terms of expectations? I'll tell in next couple of minutes what all we would cover. But anybody has any expectations, please raise your hands and let me know. So I try to cover uh, it pretty much actual, basically trying to make it as practical as relevant for you guys as possible. So any expectations before we start off? Anybody wants to raise hand or shall we start off? Okay, I'll take that as a good to start. So let me start off with a very little theory. Okay, so what is what are custom GPTs basically, and why are they relevant? Okay, all of us have used chat GPTs. Okay, now chat GPT is a pretty effective tool, and we have been using it internally as well as up for various purposes. Okay, but what if I tell you you can create your own chat GPT for your own Riju, no audio. Anybody else also has problem for audio, or others are able to listen to me? Let me check.
Yes, we can listen.
You all can hear. Okay. I think Riju, then you might have to check your audio once. Okay, so I was saying that all of us have used chat GPTs. Okay, now What if I tell you that you can customize and create your own chatbot by doing three things? First is instructions, which means that you can give ChatGPT instructions on how to act. An example of it can be, let's say you are working in an audit firm, okay? And it's a audit firm where which primarily specializes in, let's say, US gaps or IFRS. Okay, so you can give chat gpt instructions that when I give you trial balance, you prepare my financial statements aligned to IFRS or gap or let's say UAE corporate tax standards. Okay, so you can customize the chat GPT by giving specific instructions. How do we do it? What are the use cases? We will actually do that today. The second part is, what if you have the chat GPT, okay, but you add certain knowledge base to the same. Now, when I say knowledge base, let's say if you have a mid-sized firm and you have multiple HR policies, what if a chatbot could read through your policies and answer the questions for you? So that's an example of second custom GPT where you added the knowledge base and the chatbot is answering question. It can extend to any level. Let's say, for example, you create a chatbot specially for UAE corporate taxes or VAT, where you have kind of installed almost all the notifications, all the regulations of that particular elements or a particular law, and it is able to answer. Okay. The third part is, what if it is able to perform actions for you? So action by actions, what I mean is that let's say I was talking about a chat GPT which you add knowledge base to the same, okay? And you let's say you added all your HR policies. Now, what if that GPT can answer questions for employees relating to how many leaves are they eligible, and they can apply from the for the leave from the chatbot itself, and that chatbot can be in the Teams also. So this is an example of actions. So this is all what custom GPTs are, where you create a chatbot by giving specific instructions, specific knowledge, and specific ability of them to perform actions. So, so for some of you, I know you have joined late. I wanted to update that uh, this is um, this session is getting recorded, and I'll put it on YouTube as well. So you guys, and I'll share the link so you guys are able to see that. Yeah, Rahul, it can provide financial analysis, 5-year financial model, uh, and that would do based on instructions itself. Action would be where it can send email as well, or it can block a calendar on your behalf. So it is actually doing just beyond providing you knowledge or inputs. So now custom GPTs have been introduced in November 2023, and they have been around for now almost a year and a half. We will talk more about custom GPTs now. But first, let's talk about what does a GPT mean as well. Because the next part of the session, which would be hands-on, you need to have certain basic understanding before we could actually uh, before you can appreciate how this all is working. So anyone wants to take a guess? What does GPT stand for? Anybody? So, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Uh, I'll explain each of these words, but let me start off with talking about what does generative first means. Let me pause here for a second because I think some people are trying to message me to for sharing the link. So let me share the link with them. Okay. Okay. So sorry about that. Now, coming back to each of the term, what does generative pre-trained transformer mean? Let me start off with generative first. And to understand what does generative mean, we need to understand a little history on artificial intelligence. Okay, and then only you would be able to appreciate uh, what does a GPT mean or what does it do. Okay, uh, let's start off with defining what does artificial intelligence mean. Okay, now artificial intelligence is basically, as you can see on screen, it's a field of computer science that whose only aim is to create machines, uh, intelligent machines that can replicate or better human performance. Basically, it means smart machines, like machines which can work better than humans. Okay, and it all started somewhere in 1950s on creation of how these machines would work. So so in first we need to understand how are humans smart, or how do humans think, right? So so basically, humans we think through our brain, okay? And our brain sends signals to all our body parts, okay? Through small neurons, okay? So brain signals our body to move hand or to move our tongue in a manner that we speak. So so this is how brain typically operates, where through neurons it communicates with its entire body. And in 1950, scientists were able to create a neuron kind of a structure which was called as perceptron. But it was a single structure or a single cell, wherein wherein for humans, we have multiple such neurons which flow through our body, which allows us to communicate, right? Now, now this was in 1950s. The progress from there was pretty slow. The next layer of progress was happened in 1980s, which was around machine learning, which is a subset of artificial intelligence. Machine learning is all about looking at data and predicting trends. So, like somebody spoke about, like, will I be able to predict the next 5 years financials based on certain data provided? So that's a classic example of machine learning. Another example of machine learning can be, like, we all use credit cards. Let's say suddenly your credit card is getting used at a location where you don't really travel, or at a website where you don't really shop. And then you would see that somebody from the bank calls to confirm whether it was you who had done the transaction. So basically, they looked at the patterns on your transactions and tried to come up with, is this a fraud kind of a scenario? So that's an example of machine learning, okay, where predictions are made using data. Now, third progress of it happened in 2010, or early part of the 21st century, which was on deep learning. Deep learning is basically optical vision. Like, all our mobiles can detect our face, okay? And they are detecting our face through numbers. Basically, obviously, machines don't have eyes, right? So they put, like, the structure of our pupils or the skin texture. They put the coding to it based on which the phone unlocks. Okay, so it's called as optical vision, or it's a classic example of deep learning. Now, this all changed significantly in 2017 when the perceptron, or single neuron that was built by scientists, uh, a team of Google scientists was able to create a architecture where multiple neurons could be connected to each other. So basically, they could create almost a human-like machine, and that's what was called as generative AI. Because till then, it was all discriminative. When I say discriminative, let's say, is this transaction a fraud or a not fraud? Is this the image of a cat or a dog? So it was saying yes or no, yes or no. But generative AI was significantly different because it had two very interesting aspects. Okay. The first interesting aspect of generative AI that it was able to understand natural language. What does natural language means? We are speaking in English, so it's a human language. And if somebody asks us a question, we are able to reply and respond. Okay, so reasoning ability. So that's basically reasoning ability is also there. So generative AI is a machine which understands human language and can argue or speak or think like humans. So that's basically generative AI. Okay. Now, coming to the next two parts of this word, which is pre-trained, which means that to create this chatbot, you don't need to train them again. These models are pre-trained, and then you can transform it in the form of a chatbot or a translator or a Q&A bot. So you can create anything using these models. So that's why these are called as generative pre-trained transformers. Okay. Now, I know quite a few of you joined slightly late. So for your input, I'm recording this session, so you guys could later on, and I'll put it on YouTube, so you guys could later on go and see this on YouTube as well. So this was the first part of the theory. Now, I wanted to actually start off with the hands-on. So I'll just pause here for 30 seconds in case any of you have any question you can ask me, uh, or otherwise we'll head towards the hands-on part of the session. And for all of you who joined late, I'll quickly update you what all we are going to cover. So we are going to cover three things mainly: how to create a customized GPT using instructions, which is basically telling it what to do. An example for it can be a GPT which looks at only corporate income tax laws of UAE. We will create a GPT using knowledge base, which means we upload all the corporate taxes or let's say all the VAT laws or all the IFRS laws, and it is able to create financials based on IFRS or answer questions relating to corporate tax, VAT. And third example is actions. Actions is where let's say if you created a bot for creating your VAT return. It is able to also upload it on the website of FTA and do that thing. So these are the three kind of GPTs primarily we would discuss. First two we would create as well. Actions is what I would show you some of the use cases. So yeah, so this is what we have covered so far. Any questions anybody has, or shall we move forward? Okay, so I'll presume that everybody is clear till this level, and we will uh, and then like we'll start off now, and you can ask me any questions later. Okay, so let's start with the next part of the session now, which is hands-on. Now, like I had messaged, to be able to follow me precisely, you will need a customized, I mean, you will need a GPT Plus license because that's what is required to be able to use the to be able to create customized GPTs. Okay, so I will go here and let me hide this. Is my screen visible? No, I don't think so. It is visible. Let me just share again. Now let me check. Yeah, this is visible. Okay, so everybody is able to see my screens, right? Yeah, cool. Uh, so for people who have got a GPT Plus license, you can actually follow me when I create those customized GPTs. For others, you might have to just see what I'm doing, and later on, you can actually create it as well. So knowing whether you are eligible to create the custom GPTs or not, you will come to know by clicking on view plan. Okay. And here it would say your current plan. So like for me, it is showing as GPT plus. Okay. That means I can create those customized GPTs. For all the 25 odd people on the calls, can you give me a thumbs up how many of you actually have a GPT Plus license? So accordingly, I will paste my okay. So Rajendra has it. Quite a few have GPT Plus license. So that means I'll go slow then, because then I think you all will follow as well. So I will go slow in that case. Okay. AK Mars, you have any question? Your hands is up, or it was just a thumbs up?
Sorry, it was just a thumbs up.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So, so like I said, I'll go a little slow because a lot of you would actually follow the creation of GPTs. Okay. So how do you create GPTs? You can on your left hand side of the screen, as you can see. Okay, I have already certain GPTs that are there. There is an option which is called as Explore GPTs. Okay, over here. And here I will go a little slow. If you guys get stuck, just stop me and ask a question. Otherwise, you will not be able to pick up later. So I'll click on Explore GPTs, and then you would get these two options on the top right hand side. There is My GPTs, and then there is a Create a GPT. Okay. If I go to My GPTs, I would be able to see, okay, what all different GPTs that I've created. Okay. I mean, I've done many training sessions. A lot of them are not very useful ones. And then there is creating a GPT for a specific purpose. Okay, so if I click over here, that's what the first step of creating GPT says. I will recap again over here. Customized chatbots is about three things: specified instructions, specific knowledge base, and third is specific actions. Okay, these are the three things around which the chatbots typically. This is how a customized chatbot is created. So now we have to create a GPT. Now I have an option that we can create a GPT for enterprise risk scanner, or I have a second option. You guys tell me what you all do, and we'll create a GPT relevant to your business purpose. So it becomes a more interactive one, and you are all able to use it as well. So anyone wants to raise a hand and suggest any specific area for which they would want this GPT to be built for? Yeah, go ahead. I mean, you guys can talk and tell me.
Yeah, we can use corporate tax, UAE corporate tax.
UI corporate tax. Okay. We'll create a GPT for UI corporate tax. One second. Okay, sorry for that disruption. Okay, so now we can create a GPT for UE corporate tax as well. Uh, okay, so first let me show you how does or structure of the GPT looks like. Okay. Uh, if your screen is open, you would be able to see these two parts in the screen. There is create section where you can give instructions to create a GPT in certain manner. Okay. Then there is configure section, which we'll talk about in a while. And then this is preview section. To simplify things, on the left-hand side, it's the builder screen where you can give instruction to build a customized GPT. And on the right-hand side, what you are seeing, the preview screen is the test screen, where you can ask this draft GPT to see how the results are kind of coming in, or you can assess whether the GPT is serving your requirement or not. Okay, so this is how it would typically work. Now, somebody said, can we create a GPT for UAE corporate tax? Okay. And if I have to understand, you would want all that this customized GPT always looks at the latest regulations, latest memos, so on and so forth for creating or giving you answers around the corporate tax. Okay. So let us start doing that. Okay, let me first give the first instructions. And I'll keep on putting the instructions in the chat window. So if you want, you guys can copy it as well. Can you create a GPT which works as a corporate tax consultant? Provide. Okay, so this is the first instructions that I have given. I'll copy it as well. So can you create a GPT which works as a corporate tax consultant in the UAE? It is professional, able to answer queries for UAE corporate taxes, provide calculations, and also consider other relevant and applicable laws in the UAE, which has impact on the corporate liability. Okay. So I'll copy this. I'm giving the instruction over here and let's see what happens. And I will also put this instructions on the chat window so uh, you are able to use it as well. Or you can create a GPT, different GPT of your choice as well parallelly. And when I do that, there are certain things that are happening. Okay. It says that I have set up your GPT as professional UAE corporate tax consultant. It can answer tax related queries, provide calculations, and other things. Would you like to refine anything such as industry specific tax considerations? So I can say yes, take IFRS considerations applicable to different industries. And I can say also provide a name for this GPT. Okay, I have given that also. I'll copy it over here. So, so it is giving the answer. Let's see what it does next. Okay, uh, so how about naming it? I'll say, okay, fine, name it this way. So it will give a name and then it will generate a profile picture as well. I will not bother so much on the profile picture and I will actually say okay for it. Okay, so I'll say okay for this profile picture as well. Okay, now the next thing. Okay, now if let's say you are a corporate tax consultant, you would all want the advice to be relevant. Okay, and many of you would know that a normal chat GPT's advice is the database is updated only till a certain date. Okay, and we can check this right now as well. What is the knowledge cutoff date based on which answers are being provided? So it says June 2024. So that means any law after June 2024 is not considered. So does it make sense? Or we would always need advice which is always up to date? What do you guys think? Obviously, we'll
I think
need
we should need up to date advice.
exactly. Agree. We all need an up-to-date advice. So that means we need to customize this GPT to make sure it is not working like a chat GPT which gives advice only till the time its database is updated. So how is this possible? We can do it by giving it an instruction that before any and every advice, go to the relevant sites to update, check what are the new regulations and then give the advice. Okay. So that's the most important thing, and that's what we are going to do next with this. So how are we going to do it? I can give it instruction over here, but let me show you when I give instruction, what happens behind the scene. So for that, you will have to go to the configure section. This is the picture of the GPT. As you can see, the name of the GPT, you can update it or you can ask ChatGPT to things for some names. This is the description. What does the description mean? I will come to it later. The important thing is instructions. Okay. Here in the instructions, you would see that whatever instructions we had given, based on which it has made its a very good theory on how this GPT operates. So it says that it's a professional GPT specializing in UAE taxation laws. It looks at other laws as well, which has an impact on corporate tax, such as VAT, ESR, transfer pricing rules. Okay. It curates the answers which are professional, clear. It considers the IFRS related standards as well. Okay. Now, what additionally we want is that it should always look at the latest advice as well. Okay. So what we can do is we can specifically enter that instructions over here. So what happens when you give instructions? The GPT kind of on the back end updates the instruction based on which it is operating. I can again ask it to give the instruction in the create, and then it would interpret and update it. But for me, this is a binding instruction, which means that I always want it to look at the latest regulations before it gives. So I will hard code it in its instruction base. So this is where all the instructions based on which GPT is working are stored. So it will act based, its behavior would be governed by this section. So in this section, I'll say every time before you give an answer, always web search, always web search the internet, web search, always web search uh, from FTA relevant government site, reputed tax consultants, reputed news portals, and then provide the instructions after taking into consideration the impact of new regulations. Okay, so this is how it would this is the additional instructions we would give to it. Okay, and I'll put this instructions in the chat window as well. So if you want, you can copy as well. And based on these instructions, now let's ask a question. Anybody wants to ask a question which is very specific to any latest regulation that would have just come so that we can explore this? For the tax advisor GPT. Okay, I can ask it a question for a company. Let me look at chat window if there were any specific questions. Okay, somebody spoke about real estate. Okay, let me ask for a company based in real estate. It has sales of 300 million AD. Project completion is 50%. 30% of the projects are in pre-zones. Costs are 80 million. What is the potential? Okay, that's viability. Okay, I'll ask this as a question. And you would see it searching the web, okay, which is very important because then it looked at all the regulations and then it came up with the answer. And against each of them, see, it is giving you links that this is how these are the various instructions I've considered. Here it's saying I looked at almost 20 plus websites to give you advice. Before giving you the advice, I used 20 plus websites, and you can actually check all the links. If I keep on doing next, I would be able to see what are the different rules which are the different websites it referred before giving an advice. And then it came off up with the tax implications. And at every, you can see before giving any advice, it has given you all the backups for it. So unlike the normal chat GPT, it is able to actually back up its all the advices. Okay. And yeah, so this is the example of the custom GPT. And what was very important in it was the web search, because unless the web search is enabled, it won't be able to perform this instruction where it is every time before giving you the advice, it is going to the web portal and then coming back and giving you the answer. Okay. So I will potentially pause here because this was a big maneuver that we did to customize the GPT. Anybody has any questions before we move on to the next part or understanding the next section, the custom GPTs?
Mahendra, can you just brief, maybe at very high level, how this is working in the background? How
Okay,
do they get this information?
okay. So, okay, let me. Yeah, okay, first let me ask this question and then I'll pick up the chat question. So how it is working in the background is that there is a full data from the Internet Library till June 2024 in the in these are all OpenAI models. So they have in their servers there is full data backup that is available. Okay. Now like we said, corporate tax is a very corporate tax or any regulations for that matter. I'll not stick to corporate tax. Is something which you need to every time look at if there are any changes in the regulations based on which you need to give advice. So how it is working in the backend is we took the normal chat GPT, okay, which has the database. And I'll go back to the definition, generative pre-trained transformer. Okay, so we took this pre-trained model or pre-trained chatbot and added an additional layer of instruction that before you, firstly, you have to give advice relating to corporate tax. After taking into consideration, I'll zoom this up so you are able to visualize this better. After taking into consideration all the relevant laws for UAE only, okay, and then you have to look at all the websites, UAE websites, which are relevant for any update to the regulations and then give the advice. So what you have done is you took a pre-trained model, okay, and gave it additional instructions to make sure it is meeting your need. And your need in this case was to create a chatbot which is able to answer uh, questions based on latest information. I'll mute everyone for a second. Yeah. So did that answer your question, Rahul? I think Rahul, you had asked this question, right?
Yeah, it was me. I think it's this answer.
Yeah. So did this answer the question? We have basically used the normal chatbot or normal chat GPT and created a customized based on adding these specific instructions.
So
Okay.
just a top of question.
Yeah, Riju.
So here actually we when we ask the question until which date it is updated, and it's up to June 2024. So that means the database is updated with all information updated up to June 2024, right? And then how does it pick up the rest of the data? So it's by looking, yeah.
Yeah, so by looking at the website, so if you look at the answer, okay, see, follow this screen, okay. What it did was, if you look at this answer, total sales, okay. So these are the 21 websites it looked at to be able to take into consideration that for a real estate company that is operating in, this was our question, right? A real estate company operating in free zone as well as mainland costs. Okay, what are the potential cost implications? So it looked at these 21 websites, okay, to update its knowledge base. Then for each of the calculation, for looking at the tax rate, it looked at 12 websites to confirm. So for looking at taxable projects, taxable income from mainland, it looked at these three websites. So it updated its knowledge base based on what has changed and where all it looked at. It looked at the government FTA side, the government side, reputed tax consultant, news portals. So we gave it instructions. So before giving you any advice, it will always look at the latest regulations and then only answer the questions.
Thank you.
Okay, I would go to the chat window. So Tezun, see what happens is if you want to create those customized chatbots, you will need GPT plus. But the advantage is once you take the license for 1 month, you create the GPT plus, and then I'll cover it now. Is basically these GPTs can be shared. So once you publish it, even if your license, the GPT plus license is gone, you are still able to access this custom GPT. So whenever you want to create a customized chatbot, at that point of time, you need to have a license. But after that, till the point you want to make a updation, you will not really need the license. How far it is reliable? It is pretty reliable. Like it has accuracies of more than 90%, Rahul. And we look at more complicated use cases as well. Uh, DFC, yeah, we can do that. We can give specific instructions as well. Uh, uh, Conflicting views on different websites. That's an interesting question, Tezin. What if there are conflicting views on different websites? So it uses something called as a confidence score. A confidence score is based on various algorithms, and it comes up with which website or which website generally gives better opinion. So it will give you advice based on the overall confidence score. But is the confidence score always right? Obviously, no. Like there can be high probability for accuracy, but there is no 100% surety. I can tell you that. Okay. So, okay. So we discussed till here. I will go back to our GPT and continue our next activity in this. So we spoke about name, we spoke about description, we spoke about instruction. Okay. Now there is something called as conversation starters. Before we get into conversation starters, let me save this GPT once. Okay. So I'll click on create this GPT. And then there are three options. One is only me, one is anyone with the link, third is GPT store. Okay, for now, let me click on only me, but let me explain you what does GPT store, what does anyone with the link, and what does only me mean. And this would answer some of the questions that you guys had raised. So only me is obviously you would understand that it is can be used by only me. Anyone with the link is basically to the people who you share the link, they can use it. And then there is GPT store. What does GPT store mean? It is very simple, similar to how we have the Play Store in Apple, Android, and okay, I get confused. Like between Apple Store and Play Store, right? Yeah. So Apple Store and Play Store. So where all the apps exist. So this customized GPT is kind of a app, okay, and it is getting stored on that particular Play Store or a GPT store. So anybody can go to the GPT store, search when they search for this particular type of GPT, and if your GPT is being used by multiple people, it would return a very high rating and they can use it. Okay, so that's what is called as GPT store. The advantage for it is like if you would remember that when Android came up with its Play Store, uh, what happened was suddenly the feature phone market went away. Nokia went away because then you never needed a feature. You could download an app and do things whatever are required using the app. Okay. And initially the Play Store was free, but then people whose app was being used by multiple people, they could monetize it by subscription. So GPT Store is also eventually going to go to the subscription model where the GPTs which are extremely popular, people would be willing to pay a subscription premium for that. So that's what a GPT store means. For now, I'll put it at only me and save it. Till the time it is getting saved, any question anybody has, I can take that before we maneuver to the next part. Okay. So settings are saved. I'll view the GPT. So see, this is how the GPT would look like in the instruction section. So there is the picture of the GPT. It shows the brief description, and then there are these conversation starters. Okay. Now we would learn how do we edit these conversation starters. So if this GPT belongs to you, you will have this option when you click the down arrow, you will have this option of editing the GPT. Okay. This is where you can continue editing the GPT. Yes, Dilip, it gives visuals, flowcharts, everything it can give. And some of the charts and all we will cover in the next GPT that we build. Okay. So here you can see this is where the conversation starters are appearing, right? and we want to update these conversation starters to make sure these are relevant. So what I can do is I can go and create and give it instructions to give me some options of conversation starters. Okay, because these conversation starters are the first thing when somebody looks at your customized GPT, that person would see. So I'll ask, can you give me option of 8 conversation starters to choose from? So it has created, I can ask it to add it in the configure section. So it will update the GPT behavior. So if I go here, see now this has 8 conversation starter, but if you see the preview screen, you would be able to see only 4. The reason is quite simple, because the structure of the GPTs is such that uh, they show only the top 4 conversation starters. So what you can do is the ones that you like, you can keep it. Like these two are too big, so people would not be able to read it as well. This was is also too big. Okay, so I have these 5, and I would keep these 4, let's say. So the ones I chose, those are the ones that would appear in my conversation starter sections. And then you would be able to see like update because we did certain changes. So I can ask it to update the GPT. I'll click on update and it would update my GPT. Okay. And what I'll do is I would also see what is the version history. If I click on these 3 dots, I'm able to see various aspects. One of the important thing in it is the version history. It shows the current version. I can go back to the previous version. So it allows you, if you did certain change in the GPT which you don't like, you can actually go back to the previous version as well. Okay. So that's how it works. So anybody has any questions on the conversation starters per se? Okay, I would take that as no questions, and it was pretty clear. So now, moving on to the next part, I will just update this particular GPT and talk about few more interesting things in the GPT. Now, I'll go back to the Explore GPTs. Okay, we spoke about the GPT store, right? Now, it is very important to see because a lot of people have already created those GPTs. They have been in existence for last 1.5 year, and there are many such GPTs which can actually help you do a lot of interesting things in very less time. An example can be like you wrote a text, okay? You are creating a video and you want a AI voice to do the voice transcription for that particular video. So basically, you just write the text and AI would write a speech or it would speak for you, which you can then add it in your video message. Another example can be creating various things, such as, let's say, I'll talk about creating codes, okay? Or there is like productivity tools. One of the most famous productivity is Canva, I think. So I have, if you search for a Canva custom GPT, let me create. There is a Canva AI logo designer. There is slides and presentation designer, posters and flyers maker. There is graphic designer. Okay, and see, these are some of them are very popular. Like Canva, it is being used by 10 million plus chats have been done. AI logo designer is being used by 25,000. Some of you on the call today, does anyone have a business who would, or anyone has their private practice? We can design a logo for you right now. Anyone wants to raise hands or put it in chat window? What is the name of the company? And we can actually try designing a logo right now. Yeah, AK Mars. You can tell the name. Either you can speak or you can put it on the chat window, whatever is comfortable to you. Your hand is raised, but we can't hear you.
Yeah, I typed in my company name.
You typed the company name. Sorry, I'll just check. Mars Management Consultants. Okay, I presume it's a audit firm, audit advisory firm.
Tax
Oh,
consultant.
tax firm. Okay, so let's try doing that for you. Okay, this Mars Management Consultants LLC is a tax firm uh, based in UAE. Okay, I would say design uh, we want to design a logo for it, um, which represents trusted tax advice in UAE. And it would try to do it. It is giving you few of the options. Um, let's say you want to pick one, two, or three.
Yep.
Which one you would want out of these three? Symbolic and professional, UAE inspired theme, or minimal and elegant?
The first one.
The first one? Okay. Let's go with option one. That give you the finalized concept. I would say detailed and mixed case. So we'll ask it to finalize and give the design. It's asking to click here to design the logo now, which we'll click. It's not working link. There was problem in this one. Okay, I don't know why this particular Canva one did not work, but the same thing we can do if we go to the original Canva one, I think we could easily do that. Let me copy the same instructions. Instruction did not get saved. I want to design a logo for tax consultant and was based in Europe. And it will plug into the Canva. Canva is a very well-known uh, very well-known design platform. And see, it immediately created a couple of options for you. Mars Consulting, and then there is option 2. And you can keep on asking, like if you need more options, you can Mars tax. You can keep on asking, like if you need more options till the time you finalize it. And once you have liked any particular design, you can click on it and make further edits to the design. So this is the advantage of using pre-created GPTs by some other service providers. Similarly, there is GPT on writing text-to-speech conversion, which I will talk about. So this one is another interesting one. Let me go to text-to-speech GPT. Text-to-speech. See, AI voice generator. So you can generate the voice by just giving your text. So there are many such GPTs which exist, and you can easily use it as well. That's the another important thing for exploring GPTs. Next is we'll create a GPT using knowledge base. Um, Anybody has any other questions over here? We have PowerPoint. Can we have a PowerPoint? Wait a second. Let me go to the questions. How to create a PowerPoint with specific designs. Yeah, so we there is PowerPoint GPTs as well, Lijo. So if I think two people asked the same question, Jojo and Lijo. So I'll go over here. If I go to explore GPTs, uh, there is something for PowerPoint design. There is something called as very good site slides design. Okay, there is a GPT created by slides design as well. Uh, Slide design. Wait. Uh, let me let me just put slides and then I should be able to find that. This is slides and presentation. There's presentation and slides. This is 3 million plus. So I think this would be a very good GPT for designing your slides. You have any specific question for the type of the slide? I can ask it now, or otherwise share. I can share the link of this GPT in the chat window. Okay, I'll put the uh, GPT link in the chat window. And then you can give instructions. Okay, then it would go straight to the PowerPoint. You can download that PowerPoint and later on basically work more on that as well. Yeah, Lijo, you can ask the question.
So I have a question here. The question is that, we are not allowed to upload any numbers onto third-party
Yeah,
website.
yeah.
So that seems to be a constraint. So can we, create this PowerPoint and then modify this later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
so
that's
does
what
it
you
come
can
with an
do.
Excel interface or something where the numbers can be changed and the slide, the
So you
graph
can
automatically?
directly download. So I'll show you now. So although I have not used it, we will both explore together. But if I go to this particular GPT, okay, wait a second. Let me just go to this GPT. Let's say since you said financial numbers, I'll assume it is for financial projections or something. Okay. Uh, can you provide a slide deck for financial performance analysis and projections for mass consumption? Let's put a random name. So it will give you the options, and then once you say it, okay, for now, I'll just say okay. You can actually download this presentation, and then later on, basically you can make all those edits that you want without really uh, so it's generating it one slide. So as soon as the slide is generated, okay,
Yeah.
you can click on it and you can download it. I mean, it may take time
Yeah,
because
that's fine.
it's literally creating from the scratch.
Yeah.
But you can click on it, you can download it, and there are very good other options also. There is Slides Go. Okay, I'm sure there is a GPT by Slides Go which gives you animated slides as well. So in case your management is pretty much interested in animated slides, if you search for Slides Go, I'll put it in the chat window. This would be another very good customized GPT from where you can really create some pretty good slides and then download it and basically put confidential or the relevant data.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this was on the pre-existing GPTs. Let me um, go back to the third part now. So I'll go back to the slides actually. So what we have discussed so far is a chat GPT and then using instructions, how we can create customized GPT. The next part of it is the knowledge base of the GPT. So GPT where it can read through your knowledge base, okay, and then it can create a customized GPT. So anybody has any request like what kind of knowledge base GPT should be created? Any specific knowledge base? I mean, it's for fun over here. Later on, you can decide. So Indian equity, you have the data. By knowledge, I meant that we have to upload the information. You have the data, either Excel or anything which we can upload, Dilip bhai? Anybody that any data that they would have, which we can use to create. Welcome. So Copilot has a much better options available, Biju, that we'll cover in the later part of the session, but Copilot has a better options. So AML rulebook, will I find it online, Dilip bhai, AML rulebook, or you can put it in the chat window so I can create a GPT based on that? Okay, or otherwise I can, okay, yeah, you can put it over here in the chat window and then we'll create it. Okay, we have a minute till the time we get the knowledge base to create the next GPT. Anybody has any questions? Otherwise, we'll start the precursor of the building that custom GPT. Uh,
Okay, on maybe you will answer in precursor. Just wanted to understand like how do we upload the resources? Because if we go for upload files, it is asking for upload from my current this thing. So storage, but we need it from the web. So like say that latest, what is the latest tax updates on that? So
yeah.
maybe we need from the government's website,
Yeah.
FTA website, see what are the amendments. So how do you do that?
So, I'm not sure, someone you attended the first part of the session, but if you wanted to read from the websites, it's pretty easy. It's based on the instructions one. So the first GPT that we created, I'll show it again for you. Maybe you might have missed the first part of the session. So this is the GPT we had created, UE Tax Advisor. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me just show you once quickly. If I go to edit over here and if I go to the instructions, see, we just have to give this command that every time before giving an options, search from FTA, relevant government sites, reputed tax consultant. So it always looked at the relevant sites and then gave you the answer. So that we have already covered on how to
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at the
that I
website.
understood. No,
Yeah.
I'm saying if
Yeah.
you go to somewhere it says upload files. So I thought maybe we have to upload some files to
Yeah.
give the chat
So
GPT the inputs key from where it will generate the information.
yeah, so that is the knowledge based one, but you are thinking just from tax perspective, Suman. Now there are many cases where you would not have the knowledge base uploaded online. Okay, and I will give
Okay.
you an example. We'll talk about data security as well in a minute. Okay, but let me first give you an example. How does the knowledge based GPT make sense? So let's say if you have a company, okay, where you have your HR policies. Uh, Now, there are two options for HR policies or finance policies for your employees to read. They can every time read the policy and search for it. Or the easier way is, what if you create a customized GPT, okay, which is not published for everyone, but people only with the link can access that particular GPT. Okay. And then your employees can ask questions relating to the policies you are talking about. Let's say leave policy, payroll policy, so on and so forth. Okay. That's one option. Now, within this, what if I tell you that these customized GPTs using another functionality which is called as Copilot Studio, the data also does not go to ChatGPT. It stays within your organization's environment. Still, it is possible. So, knowledge-based GPTs come in very handy where you have to make sure that it is reading from an information base which is not basically publicly available information. Okay, that's one very good use case to talk about someone if that made sense.
Yeah, I understood. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And secondly, there is another very interesting use case where knowledge which is available also still makes sense. Okay. So some of you might know that I'm contesting for the elections, and one of the things I'm talking about is having a chat GPT which would answer questions relating to finance, tax, audits. Okay. So the concept behind that is, let's say in Copilot, okay. Now, every time, even if you give this instructions, this GPT is searching through FTA website and then applying confidence scores and then deciding, okay, which regulations I would pick up and which regulations I will not pick up. But what if you put in all the resolutions which have been which have come till date precisely from FTA website only into the knowledge base, so it is reading through all the regulations. The only thing is manually you have to update it every time a new resolution comes in, but then you have restricted it to look only from FT website and only these resolutions. So when it comes to legal matters, okay, tax, be it, or let's say labor laws, where you wanted to read only that particular language and not interpret on its own, that is the second example of where knowledge-based GPTs come very handy as well.
Yeah, I understood. Great.
Yeah, yeah. I think A has some question. Sorry, I don't have your full name. It's appearing as A. Okay, I think by mistake you have raised your hands. No problem. I'll check if okay. You have put in this resolution. Okay. This is just for fun. We are downloading this and doing it, but obviously we discussed the use cases that it can be done for many other things. So we will focus more on the concepts on how do we build this. I'll just save this. This is on AML, right? Dilip bhai, this is on AML. Yeah, it is on AML. So what we would create a GPT now is AML using this knowledge base, and then uh, if the and using this knowledge base, and then also looking at the government website um, to make sure that it also updates itself for any new law that has come. So that's how we'll create this GPT. Lisa, you have a question? Your hands is up, or is it by mistake only? So I'll go back and I'll create a new GPT. So we can go to explore GPTs. So I'll ask it, I want to create a GPT for AML laws in the UAE.
So Manda, we have to type it in this screen or the preview screen? I saw you
In
typing in both.
You can type both. So create is where if you type in create screen, okay, it would automatically translate your words and put it in the basically configure screen instruction section, okay, and then you
Okay.
can edit it. Or what you can do is you can write directly in configure also over here. But typically, I generally write in configure directly. It's like the basically hardware of this particular GPT. When I want to give a instructions where I want it to follow line word by word, I want it to do it exactly the same. Like when we were talking about looking at the websites for every answer, I did not want it to interpret because here when I write, it will interpret and then update the instructions. But where I
Okay.
want to hard code the instructions, I directly write in configure. And when it's like I wanted to interpret and make it a little broader, then I would write at create.
Like when you type the last instruction in that tax GPT that code that where you
Yeah,
wanted to hardware that, right? Like
yeah,
do it in the
yeah.
configure. Okay. No, I'm
Yeah.
saying in the preview also I thought you were typing this, so it was
Yeah,
coming in both.
preview is basically where like before you publish the GPT, you want to see how it is acting after this instruction. So preview
Okay,
is the
okay.
test environment basically, where
No,
you are
easy
testing
answer.
it.
Yeah, I just got confused. I thought maybe you're typing in both the screens. I thought
No,
maybe
no, by mistake. That was by mistake I typed it.
no problem.
Mahendra bhai,
Yeah.
another example of configuring is Power BI DAX. Is that correct? Means we need exact that DAX this thing.
Sorry, can you come again? I was not able to hear properly.
Yeah, one of the example of hardcore configuring what you said is the
Yeah.
Power BI DAX coding or something you call it. So it has to be exact to get the perfect answer. Is that
No,
be
not
a
really. Hard coding is more kind of where you want the instructions to be performed exactly. And DAX codes, it can write on its own. The Power BI
okay?
DAX codes, SQL codes, Python codes, everything it can write. And
Okay,
we'll actually see how to create write Python codes and create a tool as well today. Like
noted,
we'll run a little quick, but we'll do that.
noted. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Somebody had a question. I'll just quickly look at the chat. Yeah, yeah, knowledge be used for financial numbers as well, Lijo. I'll use that as well. I'll use that. I'll quickly finish this GPT, then we'll pick one financial numbers GPT as well. I want to create a GPT for AML loss in the UAE, which reads through the database provided and also checks on the UAE government website before giving answers. Okay, okay. Okay, okay for this also. And then I'll go to configure. Okay, we have discussed till conversation starters. There is knowledge over here. Okay, I will upload files and then there is on the downloads. Okay, where did that file go which we shared? I think UAE legislation. Okay, I will just put the link directly upload files. And this file was the one which we downloaded. Now, I know this is already available on the internet. This is just for the sake of trial we are doing it. So we have uploaded the information, okay? And then we can ask a question, okay? Uh, what does state mean? See, state means United Arab Emirates over here. So what does Create mean.
So sorry, Mahendra, just to interrupt. So now the in source of information is the downloaded file, which you did it from internal sources, right?
Yeah. So this is just one example. I mean, I know this information was anyways available online, but I'm sure you can visualize, like you can create your own tax base and based on which it can give answers. And how it makes sense, I'll show you now. Okay. Uh, I can give it an instruction where, let's say we have uploaded all the relevant laws. Okay. I can give an instruction saying in case of question beyond beyond the knowledge base, say no to providing the answer. Okay, so let's ask a random question now. What happens? What is the temperature today? So it's searching the knowledge. Uh, so it provided very random information. Money laundering. It did not work that well. Uh, Beyond the knowledge, say no, don't provide the answer. Don't provide the answer and make a joke about it. And let's update this GPT. I want to ensure that the behavior was updated before we ask this question. Have you GPT? What is the temperature? What is the corporate tax rate? Maximum. It's giving incorrect answer for some reason. I mean, it did not work. Maybe because there is a conflicting instructions of going to the web. Okay, but you would see that it is not going anywhere beyond the AML. Okay, it's picking AML related only. It's not giving answers relating to any other element. Okay, with little more configurations, you would be able to restrict the boundaries of the GPT to only answer queries relating to the knowledge base that is provided to it. Okay, so that's one example of the GPT. Now, somebody had asked, can we provide the numbers as well, and can it read through the numbers also? And this is second very interesting use case. Okay, I'm not sure who was that, but somebody had asked, can we create a GPT for financials or something? Okay, so I can upload the sales data. Okay, it would do analysis of the entire sales data in terms of, let's say, which supervisor or which location is doing the highest sale, what are the trends, month-wise patterns, so on and so forth. So imagine if you connect a chatbot, okay, in secured environment, okay, because custom GPTs is obviously public, but then similar solution of it is Copilot Studio. Okay, so if we connect the financials to a secured environment, technically the chatbot can answer any questions relating to the performance of the company. So we will try doing that now. Again, I'll pause here for a second in case anybody has any questions before I show you the financial example. Okay, so I will go to the example for financials. Uh, I will upload, or I'll create a new, or there is a created one, I think. Let me see. See here, this was the example that we had created. So this GPT was, we had just uploaded the trial balance in it. Okay. And then this was creating, the moment you upload the trial balance, it is creating income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. Okay. It considers IFRS, UE corporate tax, VAT regulations. So technically, you can just change the trial balance and it would be able to prepare financials. Okay. I can ask it. Uh, Generate VAT, provide an IFRS compliant balance sheet for this data. Okay.
Mahendra sorry to interrupt you. Can we
Yeah.
try this one? Because this is connected directly with our profession. This one, the
Yeah,
GPT.
so we can do it now. You give me, if you see here, the trial balance is already uploaded. If you want to give some other trial balance from online, I can add it now as well. We can try it, but it is generating it. So using this trial balance, see, it is generating the financial data, financials.
If you can share that TB, if it is
Yeah,
example
yeah,
based,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we
It's
can
a sample
download and
one.
all we can try.
Yeah, let me check how can I download. Uh, But let me check, is it confidential or not? But it was for listed company only, as far as I remember. Or I can download this, or we can download from internet any even. See this one, unclassified accounts. Okay, this created the balance sheet. Or we can ask ChatGPT only to create a trial balance for us, which all of us can use. Let me go to the main ChatGPT, okay, and create a. Give me. I want to create a. I'll just ask it to make it a downloadable document, and then I'll create this document, share it with all of you. Then we can upload and create our custom GPT. Okay, let me download this trial balance. Okay, I have a trial balance. Let me put it in the chat window. This little trial balance. Oh, it's not popping.
You can drag the file into
Yeah, that's what
the
I'm wondering.
taskbar.
Let
Few
me
minutes.
just.
Yeah.
It's not dropping over here in the taskbar.
No, maybe in the main screen. Try to drag it to the main screen.
I don't know what is wrong because it's not allowing me to. Very strange. Uh, it's not copying also. Okay, fine. I'll do it over here in my screen, and later on I'll send it to you guys through email. This particular document. Okay. So I will go to creating a custom GPT. I'll give it an instruction. I want to create a custom GPT which prepares IFRS and UAE corporate and other relevant laws.
नहीं 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 वो पीडीसी दिया है उसको ऑलरेडी दिया अपना पेंडिंग ही करके बोलने वाला
Financials. Yes, okay. Okay. Now the fun thing is we can just connect this to our knowledge base. Okay. I'll upload files, but like in a real life scenario, like this trial balance is periodically updating on its own. So you are always getting answers which are realistic. Okay. And so this was the trial balance. I'll ask it to generate IFRS compliant financials from this trial balance, and then you would see it would do that. So technically, you just connected your trial balance, and then it is literally processing the entire financials based on the same.
Mahendra ji, in the meantime, till it is generated, just few questions on the same.
Yeah.
Do such a things, the Excel and all need a standard headers and any accounting, the codification needed in terms of the columns and also that it will read the data properly? And
No,
second
it's not
question,
like
and
Power BI. It will create its own catalogs. So we don't need the structuring data like we need in Power BI. It would be able to do it without that.
perfect. And second question, can this be repeated every monthly, like we have a macro in Excel, so that
Yes.
every monthly can be generated automatically?
I mean, most of the companies have daily things, right? What I meant was like in Copilot Studio, you are connecting this bot directly to the financials or your ERP system, or let's say where through a automation workflow, basically where everything is kind of coming, where your financials are coming, and then automatically it goes through that. I don't know how this GPT suddenly went to AML compliance from what we were doing earlier. But yeah, we'll do it again. But yeah, so it can directly be connected to that.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. So we saw this basically, I mean, I think it had already generated it if you saw the screen. So this was another example of a GPT which would work on financials. I will potentially still quickly upload the file again because I wanted to show that it can generate charts as well. Okay. I'll just create a GPT. Okay. So, And then we would move on to some of the good features of ChatGPT because I'm being mindful of the time that we have at hand. So, okay, I'll give the instruction again of I was complying conventions. Okay, so it created the details.
Mahendraji, one more time.
Yeah.
Can it create financials in our format? Means if we
Yeah, you
provide
can
them a
give it.
format.
You can provide the format, it can do that. It can create charts as well, all those things.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this was one example. It will keep on doing it. I think it would take time. The next thing I wanted to talk about uh, was on some of the features of ChatGPT which are very powerful. One is the video creation feature. Okay, so if I go to Sora, it's the video creation feature of ChatGPT. So you can just describe it and it would create videos. So like this was the example, like I had created a video of snowfall in Dubai. So this is a video. It is a fully AI generated video that I had created for snowfall in Dubai. Okay. Um, Anybody has any ideas which kind of video you guys want to generate? We can try doing that. Anybody, anything you want to say, or I can give it some instruction of my own.
Suppose, we are opening a new showroom and,
Okay.
I take a video of that and upload it and I tell them to, create a video of, how a showroom opening should be. Can you do?
Sorry, I couldn't hear your question properly. You
I'm
might have
saying,
to.
suppose we are we are a retail company. Suppose we open a new showroom.
Okay.
So we want a very good video of the,
Okay.
opening of the showroom. So we take videos, various, like activities while that opening is going on. So somebody takes a, video of that and then uploads it, and we want ChatGPT to create a very custom video,
Yeah,
attractive
it
one.
can do that as well. Or for creation, let's say for invite of that retail store also you can try. In fact, we'll try that now in itself. Okay. You wanted a retail store opening video, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we are opening a retail store in Dubai. Specializing in what this retail store? Let's say I'd say clothing. Okay,
No,
I'll
I'm
say
saying furniture.
specializing in furniture. Create a video which would give a good kickstart for people to visit the showroom. So whenever I would give this instruction, it would create a storyboard for me. Okay, that this is
Okay,
the
okay.
sequence of the video, and then you can tell the storyboard to revise. Okay, and then finally click on the video. So when I said they gave this first instruction, you can see I have two options. Okay, storyboard or directly create video. Okay, what would be the configuration of the video? It's 16 by 9. What is the pixels? Okay, how long the video should be? I can say, okay, it should be a 10-second video. Okay, how many videos you want? I only want one single video or two videos which I want to combine. For now, we'll say one video. Okay, or let it be two video for now.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, okay.
and then I'll ask it to create a storyboard. So I can, before it creates the video, I can give it an instruction. So I clicked on creating the storyboard and it
Okay.
gives you the whole option that the video begins with a aerial view of iconic Dubai skyline transitioning to a close-up of a modern, elegantly designed retail storefront. Blah blah blah. Interior of the store is revealed in the second video. Okay, I'll ask it to create. We'll not bother so much. I mean, later on, obviously, you can try, but I'm just being mindful of the time.
Sure,
So
sure.
I'll ask it to create, but you can give instruction in the storyline. Make it bigger, make it smaller. you got me right. You can actually
Understood.
do the
Understood.
whole
Do
storyboarding
it
for
in this
there.
section itself. In the storyboard section itself, we can add or edit.
Yeah. You can add, edit, or you can give it ideas. So this option you are seeing now, okay, I can tell it expand. That means like
Okay.
make it more detailed, okay? Or I can say it reduce. That means you are going in too much details, or I can straight override also. Or
Okay.
there are GPTs through which you can think about what should ideal storyboarding look like. You can get those instructions, copy paste directly on Sora as well. Okay. And since we said okay, generate it, it has started generating. If you see on top here in activity, it is generating this, and then our first video is ready. So this is how it would look like.
Oh,
This is the
wonderful.
AI generated video. So this is the
Wow.
interior one. This is the exteriors. So this is how, I mean, obviously after you merge these two videos, you can choose through. So, and then I can change the storyboard as well. Let's say I want to change the storyboard. Now also I can change it. I don't like this. I don't like that. Right? It's, see, these storyboards are appearing right over here. And I can edit this storyboard. I can click on edit story and it would edit. I can blend this video. Okay. So if I click on um, there has to be one more video. Basically, I can add a video and blend 2, 3 videos together. So basically, the entire what do you call video creation becomes very simple with Sora. So that's a very interesting feature of ChatGPT, which all of us can use. Yeah, so that's
Oh, oh.
one thing. I will pause here for a second in case you have any question before I move on to the next part.
You can upload the videos, the actual videos, for them to, do the merging or whatever it is.
Yeah, you can
So
do that also. You can do that as well.
through the upload
Ti-
file. That okay.
Yeah,
Because the video
till
stage,
the
because
time
they
it is
will have
not covering faces or something, because like it will not work on like if you ask a human, you upload a human face and ask it to do certain things, I think that would become
No, I'm
uh,
not saying that. I'm
piracy.
saying we take an actual video because this is just a model one. Suppose we have an actual showroom, so I need to take a video and upload and say that you create a video of this around this, whatever the
It can
picture
merge it, but
videos
it
you
will
have.
not work on faces and all because they want to ensure privacy of the people. So
Okay,
faces and all it will not work like faces, actual humans. Rest till the time you are not asking the human behavior to be changed in that video, it will do, but nothing on basically impacting anybody's privacy.
but I'm saying
That's
the
what I'm saying.
location, the surroundings,
Everything is
which
fine.
guides people to know where is it actually located, the outside,
That can
the
be done.
layout, all can be. Okay.
That can be done till the time, like I said, piracy is getting hampered. I mean, privacy is getting hampered. I mean, other than that, everything is possible.
Okay.
Now, the another very interesting thing of this is Canvas in ChatGPT. So this is the Canvas tool which is very interesting. Anybody has any question to ask, and we will put it in Canvas. We'll look at two, like one would be the simple question, one would be coding. We can look at Canvas. Anybody has any question, I can use your question itself to build it on the Canvas. Okay, I'll put it what should be covered in a online custom GPT master class. I asked this question, it will create a canvas board for me. It will give me complete instructions as to what should be there. And then I'll show you some of the very interesting features over here. So see, the moment it is generated, I can ask it to uh, wait a second. I can ask it to adjust the length. I can ask it to make it shorter or make it longer. Okay, let's say I asked it to make it uh, I asked it to make it little shorter. Okay, this much shorter, 20%. So I clicked on it, and then you see what happens is it will rewrite and literally transition off in rewriting. So it is rewriting sentences for us. Interesting, right? I can ask it to suggest edits in it. It will give its feedback. I can ask it to add emojis. I can ask it to add emojis only after sections, and it will add emojis as well. Right? Then I can ask it to give feedback on this, and it will give feedback on each of the elements, and we can choose to select the feedback or reject the feedback. I clicked on it, so you will see now it will give feedback on each the document. For some reason, I mean, it's running slow. Or I can ask it to add the final polish, and it will rewrite and make it like a final document, add the final polish to it, right? So that's interesting. The another interesting thing is I can give specific feedback on specific sections. So I'd say that I liked all of it. I did not like this part. So I can say that reduce this, okay? And it will work only on this particular part. So it will reduce that part. So it made it 5 minutes, and it reduced the size of this particular section. Another thing Canvas is very useful for is writing code. So I can say, write a code for me for creating a calculator in Python. See, wrote, I just gave it an instruction, and it literally has written the whole code for me. And I can copy paste this on my Python notebook, and this would work. And if you don't believe, I can copy this. I'll go to my Jupyter notebook. And I just paste that code, hit enter, and see. I can just say, okay, add 33 plus 6700. So it created a code for calculator. You can ask it to create anything. So I mean, coding is no longer complicated after these GPTs come into play. That second thing. The third thing is using voice mode. So voice mode is where you can talk to the GPT, and then it would answer you back. I don't think so. My screen is shared on voice command, but we can do that. I'll just share my screen with the voice, including sound. So I can ask it, what are some of the things that can be covered in a custom GPT course?
I've updated the code to interact with GPT, allowing real-time conversations using OpenAI's API. Let me know if you need further modifications.
Can you talk to me in my voice itself?
I can definitely adjust my tone and style to match how you speak. If you mean literally using your voice, I can't replicate it exactly, but I can mirror your phrasing, style, and preferences to make it feel more like you. Want to
Good.
try a quick back and forth to fine-tune it?
Yes, please do it.
Great. Let's make this feel more like you. Based on our past chats, you've got a confident, practical, and engaging style. Clear, no nonsense, but also approachable. You also like adding a bit of humor where it fits. So tell me, how do you want this to sound? More conversational, a bit formal, or do you want a
Conversational.
mix, something that sounds polished but still natural, like how
Conversational.
you'd explain things in a session or a
So, so this is another example that I wanted to show you guys. So these are some of the interesting features of ChatGPT. I mean, after this, we'll go to our last part, which is actions, which we'll not actually do, but I'll just cover the theory of it and then quickly Copilot Studio. Any questions you have so far before we move on? Uh, there is a question on the chat. Okay, Sora 10 second, assume we can use okay, while I understand you can create your own query using ChatGPT, will the answer provided be different? No, no, it would be the same. It would be the same. There is no difference because ChatGPT Plus always picks up, sorry, the custom GPT always picks up the information from the latest model. So answer would be the pretty much the same. I mean, not exactly the same because that even in 2 plus versions, it won't be exactly the same. It's like humans interacting, right? They don't give the same answer every time. So, but the quality of the model would remain pretty much the same. Okay, so but your normal chats, like normal conversation, the paid model is much better because it uses the latest 4.5. So, but like GPT plus, it won't make much of a difference. So I'll go to a little bit of theory now in terms of actions, because actions is difficult to honestly cover through a webinar. So I'll rather be theoretical over here. So let me go cover the next few parts. Okay, so what does GPT actions means? It basically means that GPT is not just giving you answers, it is doing things on behalf of you as well. So we took an example of your HR policies. Okay, what if I tell you that it would not just tell you how many leave balance you have, but it can apply for leaves also for you. That is the example of an action. And how does the actions work? For that, you need to understand a little bit of theory. Just like we humans interact with machines using a graphical interface, like your computer is a graphical user interface. Okay, GUI. Okay. Uh, Now, GPTs are OpenAI. It is an OpenAI server. How GPT can interact with others? Uh, it interacts through a API, which is called as Application Programming Interface. Best example for it can be, let's say, Google Flights. Whenever you go to Google and search that, what are the flight options available, let's say between Dubai to Mumbai, it goes this Google website. This Google website goes to all the airline websites, picks up the options available, and then shows you the summary. How does it do that? It interacts with them through APIs, which is called as Application Programming Interface. Why understanding API is important for us? Because to be able to create or link your GPT to anything else, you would need APIs. An example I can give you. Let's say, for example, you want to create a bot which would answer emails on your behalf for your customers. So what happens whenever you receive a new email? Okay, you can create an API where whenever a new email is received, that email through a API connection, which I had done it through Zapier in this case, goes to the custom GPT. Custom GPT looks, answers the same, and sends email on your behalf. So basically, what you did, you connected your Gmail account to your GPT through a API, which in this case is Zapier, and then it is answering emails on your behalf. The same can work for uh, Instagram ads or Facebook ads, where you sometimes see the ad, you reply, and you get a response. So typically, what happens is the moment somebody pings you on the messenger, the assistant that you have created, the customized assistant, that looks at its own knowledge base and responds to that. So that's a very interesting examples of APIs that can be used. Now, what is Copilot Studio and why it is important? Because by now you would have all understood that GPTs are very good, but they are good for not for corporate uses, because data security is a key concern. Now, what had happened was Microsoft had invested in OpenAI, and they have got licenses to the OpenAI model. So what they have done is they have got these OpenAI models or ChatGPT models in something what they call as Copilot Studio. So Copilot is the generic one or similar to ChatGPT. Copilot Studios are similar to custom GPTs, which allows you to create those customized chatbots. And the advantage for that is it's similar to ChatGPT no code platform, and it can connect to your website or any other website, your SharePoint, your OneDrive, your manual uploads, databases, so on and so forth. And it can publish to, let's say, your team's account. So I can create a tax bot and it would be available to each of your team members. So it can, that team member can answer question around the same. It can connect to mobile apps, websites, so on and so forth. So that's broadly the idea behind the Copilot Studio, basically customized GPTs taken to the next level. So this was broadly the content I wanted to create, cover. I would pause here in case you have any questions till now. I do these sessions a lot with ICA Dubai chapter as well. I would look forward to some of you in the next session. This was more kind of to give you a quick hands-on view on how custom GPTs or Copilot Studios can work. So yeah, now I've opened the floor to questions. Yeah, somebody has his hands up.
Thank you, Mahendra ji, for such a wonderful presentation, giving a broad idea about customized GPTs. Just wanted to know this Copilot Studio, what you just said.
Yeah.
Can we use our custom GPTs and take it up to the next level using the custom GPT? Can that be linked to this?
Yeah. So Copilot Studio is basically customized GPTs only, just the data is not going outside the organization. So Copilot Studio is conceptually the same thing we are talking about, but it would not read through website, because since the data cannot go out, that means we have to break the flow. Data cannot come in as well. So let's take, for example, corporate tax bot. We added all the corporate tax policy in our database. Now the people corporate tax laws in our database, you can give access to your organization people that these are the 10 or 15 people in your finance department. They can read through it. I mean, they can on Teams, that chatbot would be available. They can just type on Teams and the advice would be available at hand. The second example was it is linked to your financial MIS or trial balance. They just type it and the financial statements are ready. So it's very powerful when you don't want to allow the data to flow out of your organization.
Noted. Thank you. And one more question: why there are different models within this plus, and what is the difference basically? The enterprise version, this plus version means
So
anything extra there?
enterprise version is more for corporates where you have multiple teams, like 20-25 people working on a single license. Okay, it's for teams.
Okay.
Plus is basically as a personal user, you want to use the latest state of art models because you are a very avid user. Okay, so you will take a plus account. But
Okay.
I'll say that plus also can be used by multiple users. Like I have one account and my team uses it. At least we are like I have a 40-member team, but 8 or 10 people are regularly using it. So I can tell you very easily that a single plus account can serve the requirement of at least 8 to 10 users who are frequently using it. I can say that much.
Got it. Can the stock market data be analyzed to the
Yes,
great extent, and the advice can be sought?
absolutely. It can be. And there are, when I spoke about APIs, this was a high level session. Like I couldn't code in front of you, otherwise nobody would understand. You can connect it directly to the websites as well, which would give you live quotes and also analyze the financials and then give you recommendations. So not just the recommendation, it is giving looking at the current trends also, the price points as well, what was the highs and lows of that particular stock. So all of this can be done. In fact, people have designed or built those GPTs. If you go to explore GPTs and search for this, you will definitely find that.
One last question. You said just like Play Store or Apple Store, this will eventually be a GPT store. So how one can be stand out in making this GPT store, or what need to be taken into account?
So your GPTs have to be really good. And like there are many, if you go to explore GPTs, you'll find tax GPTs which have 100,000 chats, 1 million chats as well. So they have made sure that they are uploading the relevant information. They have added actions to it. So you can create a custom GPT which really adds value.
Got
So
it.
example from Canva, what if I merge three things? Okay, I can merge another AI tool which does the design. Okay, and then it puts into Canva. So I've merged two different tools to create my GPT. Now, not many people would have done that, right? So, and not many one would want to do it also. So everybody would use that GPT. So basically, solving a problem which is basically important for people is what would make it successful.
Thank you. Thank you, Mandraji. Thank you.
So
Thank you, Bandaji. Very insightful session, I must say. And we would like to know a little some more in your future sessions. So, it can be on a specific topic, even if it is for a limited time. So maybe, we can take up all the them because this was an overview session. So maybe there'll be
yeah,
some overflow of the data that what we have learned now. So maybe we need
absolutely.
to revisit some of them. Yeah. So you can come in whenever you have time.
Sure,
But
sure.
it's so kind and generous of you to do. I think you're doing a great job. Educating us, making us IT literate.
Thank you so much. Thank
I
you.
also take this opportunity because I've been associated with Mr. Mahendra's classes for the custom GPT, and I'm also investing a lot of time into AI. He's written around 25 books also. I wish him all the best for the forthcoming CA Institute elections, because we need some person like him who is futuristic and help us into educating AI in the larger framework. So wish you all the best, and thank again for the very insightful session today. Looking forward for more sessions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dilip ji. Means a lot. Yeah, Lijo, you have a question, I guess.
Yes, Mahendra. It's a very informative session. I just have one particular question around the data for Copilot Studio.
Yeah,
So you had mentioned that the data doesn't go outside the organization, but still it goes through a data center, right? So I had tried initiating this in the organization, and IT came back saying, as opposed to Power BI, it seems the Power BI data resides within the UAE, whereas when it comes to Copilot Studio, it seems the data moves across the borders. And they had apprehensions in opening up this feature for the organization. So you have any thoughts on this same subject?
yeah. So I don't think so. What you are saying right now is factually correct because how does Copilot Studio work? Okay. Let me be a little technical because uh, so that everybody understands this better. Okay. Now there is a model and then there is a data. Okay. That's what we are talking about.
Yeah.
Now, model is heavy, okay, because it's trained heavily. Like these OpenAI models are not something which can come on prem because you would not want to spend so much server space. It's heavy, basically. It's a very heavy file. So, how does the Copilot Studio work? Microsoft has a service which is called as Azure OpenAI service. Okay, so there is a common cloud, okay, of Microsoft within the UAE itself. And then you have your own data sets that is there. Okay, so in this common cloud which exists in UAE, they give you certain space so that your data resides in your space and moves securely back and forth. It is called as tenant. It's called as Azure tenant. Okay, and Azure is basically Microsoft only. So we are talking about all 365. No, I mean no third party involved. Okay, so basically, you will get a Azure tenant space within the Microsoft cloud in UAE itself, so that your data securely flows in your environment only. And since the cloud is also Azure, your server is also in Microsoft environment, they call it as enterprise grade security. Okay. Now, like I said, I would refrain from saying 100% secure because nobody gives you 100% assurance. But enterprise grade security is a very high quality security, which means if your data can get leaked from this client, there is a very high likelihood it can get leaked. Your normal data can also get leaked because that is also on Microsoft Cloud, right?
Yep.
So, it's an enterprise grade security which Copilot Studio offers. And trust me, I'm not a Microsoft guy, so I have no no benefit of recommending that. But it's enterprise grade security because you are talking about same Microsoft environment. That I can assure you.
But these cloud servers are within the UAE, right?
Of course, it's Microsoft. Microsoft, I mean, these kind of big organization, because there are Azure OpenAI service, government would be their major clients. Many of the SMEs might agree to having cloud outside UAE, but the major consumers of these expensive products are going to be government entities. The first thing that they have to do is make sure the cloud has to be within, they call it as jurisdiction, or they call it as residency is the word they use it, data residency. So they have to prove data residency in UAE before they start anywhere.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Mohan.
So thank you so much for your time. I just wanted to mention that I'm also contesting the ICI Dubai elections with two primary objectives. One is basically improving data literacy, digital literacy by conducting these sessions regularly, as well as making sure these sessions get recorded and are available in ICAI library so that members get more buck